Ready to go? Okay, good
Well,
morning.
not yet.
Are we on, Kevin?
It didn't say. Okay,
Okay.
now we.
Good morning and welcome to our annual Christmas wreath workshop. We're really happy to have everybody here and we hope you enjoy it. Sue Carter is the education chair and she'll be doing the demonstration. And how many of you have in the audience have done this before? Oh, great. Okay, so you're all pros. This particular presentation is going to be recorded and you'll be getting an email link within the next day or two. So if you want to go back and look at it, you'll have it. And we've got actually all of our seminars and workshops are recorded. So if you go to our website, you can find them from, you know, all the years, well, the years when we started.
Started soon.
A couple of years we've been recording, yeah, the Zoom. Yeah, and like I say, feel free afterwards or during to go visit the nursery, and we have some nice gifts and some great plants. Also, our Victorian garden has been upgraded and we're still working on it. We have a couple demonstration gardens, which Francesca back there, who's also on our education committee, she keeps those up very nicely, and everything is done by volunteers. So anyway, again, we're glad to have you here. My name is Pat. I'm a greenhouse volunteer and on the education committee. And if you're interested in volunteering, we're always open to the new volunteers. So just talk to any of us. So, okay.
Lots of opportunities to
I'll
volunteer.
let Sue do her thing.
Thank you, Pat. Well, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a wreath. I'm not a crafts person. I'm not a teacher. So, you know, it's just, you know, I look at them, I just pick what I like and do it and try to do a variety, but it is pretty easy to do. And lucky the Parks Department got a huge variety of greens for us this year. So we can, let me kind of show you a couple of things that I've done. This is podocarpus and olive. They cut olive for us the first time this year. I don't know where they got it. I don't know where the olive trees are in the park. And then added some pine cones. And then we've had this almost a lavenderish tint. It's dried salvia blossoms. Somebody brought them. We had a private workshop yesterday and somebody brought those. So that's one choice. Another choice of greens, just a mixture. We have beautiful holly berries this year. So this is basically redwood with a little bit of this cedarberry thrown in and redwood. And so it's a little bit different look, a little bit more Christmassy, natural. Here's one I've started. So beautiful magnolia with nandina berries, redwood, and this is some kind of cedar. Somebody asked me yesterday what it was, and being educational program, we really should know the IDs of all of these trees, but I tried my app and it told me it was a sequoia redwood, which it's not. Choice of greens. I like to use redwood. It gives a structure. It's very stiff. I use it as the base of the wreath and the one with the magnolia leaves. You see the cedar here? You see how the different look you get. You get a lot more relaxed look with a cedar. And so if you kind of want a kind of droopy feel, it's a little bit harder to work with, I think. I use it more as an accent and getting the this one doesn't have a lot of the seed pods, and I don't think anybody on Zoom, it's hard for you guys to see them too, but Did some nice pods on some of them. They cut us lots of bay. Some of these you're gonna have to trim up the bay leaves. There's some mildew on the back, but you're not using that part. I think it's, you know, the tips are pretty good. They're not too mildewy, and they have some nice little berries to provide accent and a wonderful fragrance. So you're welcome to do a full bay leaf. And here's some olive, which is nice because it's got the gray background. Also, this is a little bit, didn't have a lot of this, but it's a deciduous magnolia. So it might make a nice accent to your wreath. And nestle it in a little short, you just need little short stems and probably nestle it in. But it would have been nice on this one too. So infinite variety and things to do, and everybody's wreath always turns out beautiful. And so we have a lot of magnolia, and sometimes, you know, these leaves are, you know, it's all natural. They get beaten up, they get eaten, so you just have to kind of pull off the leaves you don't work with. And the magnolia sometimes, and I haven't done it yet to this one, maybe when I finish I will. Sometimes I decide there's too many leaves, they're all too bunched together, and I'll kind of trim out some leaves. Or you can, when you're done, you can add them in later. So that's kind of greens that you have a choice of. So how to start your wreath? First, you got to find the end to the wire. So this is a 22 gauge wire. Anything smaller than this, if you're pulling tightly, what you need to pull tightly to secure the greens on the frame, it can break. I've had that happen. So to start, you got your frame, and it's got all these crossbars. Going to be tying the end of your wire securely to one of the bars. This keeps it from the wire from slipping. If you tie it to here, then when you start putting your greens on, it can slip. That's okay to tie it to one of the circles, but then you also want to wrap it around the crossbar so it doesn't slip. All righty, I got that started. So for this wreath, I'm going to use a base of redwood. Oh, let me show you what to do when you have these branches. So this will make several bunches. So first thing I do is I just quickly go down and trim off the side pieces. And there's the end piece. So for the cedar, the weepy cedar, you kind of do the same thing. You want your individual pieces, maybe 8-10 inches long. I start out, and this is longer, but I'll show you what to do. So I just get a bunch, couples together. These are pretty full, so I think I only need 2. And I love this variegated cedar. It brings a lot of light into a wreath. See the difference? And it's so beautiful. And here was kind of like a little end piece. Maybe I'll put it in the back and it'll some depth to it. And so we had these little cones. I don't know what this evergreen is. You'll find that some of your branches have might have a little brown on them. You might leave it, or you can just pick them off. Yeah, I think I'm going to add one more bunch of redwood here. Okay. So here's the first bunch. And you can see they're all different lengths. I'm just going to either you can kind of line them up or trim them off. They're all about the same length. First bunch. Put it on the wreath. Here. Just hold it securely with one hand. And then I'm going to be wrapping the wire around. Wrap it 3 or 4 times, pull tight. That's the key. Otherwise, you might find your greens are starting to drop off. Okay, now we just continue doing that all the way around until we finished the wreath. So these little cones were short. They're kind of close. If I put this here, it's going to cover them up. I'm going to turn this next bunch out a little bit. So the cones aren't too hidden, but I'm covering up the stems for the first bunch. And again, take your wire, go around 3 or 4 times, pull it tight. If you're working with magnolia, they're heavier branches, so you really got to make sure it's secure. And it's much easier if you kind of pre-trim all your branches ahead of time. That way you're not stopping to say, oh, where's another branch? Cones down here. You know, some of them are on really short stems, and what I might do later, I might just glue some on or wire them on. Okay. We just continue around in the same direction, wiring on pieces and covering up the stems. You might find when you're finished that one side's a little lopsided, one side's heavier. Either trim off excess greens or wire on more. Any questions? Okay, so what I'm going to do now, instead of taking the time to put 5 more or so bunches on that, I'm going to show you how to finish up your wreath. What to do at the end. So you can see here, this is gone almost all the way around, so it's gonna need one or two more bunches. The bottom here. And if your wire, sometimes it's better to have this a little shorter because you can get a good grip on it and pull them tight. So I do have some pre-cut magnolia here. I need some redwood. These are kind of short pieces. Okay, some redwood. Magnolia. And this. Magnolia stems a lot longer. Cut it off. One of the leaves is in the way and it's a little eaten. Oh, you can either kind of, this is kind of a bare spot here. That's where you can put your bow. You can quit now, or you can add one more piece. I'm going to add one more piece on there, and that will cover up these stems. Pick up, this is the first bunch that I put on. I just pick it up, slip your last bunch underneath. And wire it on. Oh. I thought these were all the same gauge. Anyway, oh, that's what happens. So I'm just gonna try. Twisting it. Didn't know I was so strong. Giving it a good tug, it's holding. Okay, so what do you do when you finish with your greens? A lot of the good pruners have a little notch at the base here, and that's for cutting wire, so it doesn't dull the blades. So I leave 12 inches or less of wire here, and then all you do is take the end, thread it through, and then kind of just not really a knot, but I just kind of thread it through the loop and do it about 3 times. Whoops. So many greens there. It's that should be good. Then I'll just take the end and kind of thread it in. So I said, I would like some more berries in that. This berries around. These are nandinas. Maybe I can just, sometimes you have to wire them on, sometimes you can just slip them in. And let's see one of the branches that look loose. Maybe not. Thought one looked a little loose. I thought I was going to have to secure it with just cut another piece of wire if something's not holding on, and kind of wrap it around and tie it in. Any questions? So easy. Hardest part is getting the greens. Yes.
It looks like it's not that easy to hold on to a bunch and then wire it.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you wire the bunch?
You can. It's not necessary.
Could you repeat the question?
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Said it looked like it was difficult to hold a bunch
And then
wire it. It's not really difficult, but it's a lot more time consuming to wire each individual bunch, but you could do that. Might be a little harder with a magnolia. So if you find it difficult, then you might not want to work with a magnolia. Okay. Any other questions? Anything on Zoom?
Nothing.
Okay. So for hanging, you see we have these hangers here. 3 hangers you can purchase. So they just go over a door frame and then hang.
That up for you.
Sure. Sometimes you can hook tie some wire on and use that for a hook. I have a brass hook on my front door, and so I just hang the wire frame on that. Another thing you can do, on this one, you can use some ribbon to do it. And it's not quite as easy. You want to, because your wire is, you want to thread it through here. Up. This is long. So if you're going to put it on a wooden door, put some thumbtacks at the top so it goes into the top of the frame. And if this matches your ribbon, this is not hanging right because it's kind of lopsided, but you know, that's another alternative. Now bows. I do the bows next, and then if I want to attach pine cones or hot glue anything on, I will do that after the bow. So everybody should have 4 yards of ribbon. This is all wired ribbon. It's very forgiving. You could do just about anything with it. Use it year after year. This is one I use on mine. And all you have to do is get it out of the box and fluff it up again. So this is a little birdie I have that I've nestled in my ribbon. Okay, want to leave a tail. So you can see those about maybe 12, 16 inches long. And then you just make your loops. However big, the bigger the loops, the bigger the bow, and smaller. So all I'm doing is doing it back and forth. Open there. Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, four loops on one side, 5 on the other. Okay. Some wire. Minimum of 12, probably 16, 18 inches is good. You're going to be wiring this onto your wreath. Just pull the wire around the center. Doesn't have to be exact. You can adjust it later. And your 2 ends, you're going to be tying on. Give it a twist. And then just kind of fluff it up. Pull it around. This is narrow ribbon. A little bit wider, gives a little bit fuller bow. Just kind of tie it onto the wreath, and you can adjust it later. Okay. You can have scissors, Pat. I think they were up on there.
Oh, yeah, those are probably better.
Then you just want to give it a cut. Diagonal. Cut. See here, I've kind of given the exact same ribbon. Just kind of given these a twist. I've never tried it, but I've seen some wreaths where they kind of leave longer tails and weave the ribbon in, and then kind of maybe just hot glue it so it stays, so it's around the wreath. So lots of different options. So that's one-sided ribbon. Some of the ribbon is, it's two-sided. Same on both sides. Some of the ribbon, this is sparkly on one side and plain on the other side. So if you're making your loops the way I did with that one, just weaving back and forth, you can see that you got the back side out. So what you want to do. Loop, so that you just give this a twist. And then you do your loop. Here, twist. Is that clear? And the directions are on the back of your instructions.
They're not.
Pardon?
Oh.
Oh, one side. Okay, well, we'll fix that before you leave. Sorry, those, I think those must have been some we had old ones. Okay. All right. So, pine cones. So you can. So this one that I started, all of these cones were really short, but I'd like to have more, but I'd like to have them instead of right at the base. I might like to put some out in here too. You can wire them on or glue them. So this is short cord here. So there's a glue gun station over there. So this is after you get your bow on because you want this glue to set. So I've just nestled it in there, kind of giving it a push. And I don't work with glue guns a lot, but I don't think glue guns take, I think that glue sets pretty fast, but you still, give it time. Do any gluing you want to do at the ends. One thing you can do too. Succulents. You can, this is a pretty heavy succulent. You can add succulents to your wreath. This is heavy. I would probably wire it on. So add some interest. All your wreaths and succulents will benefit from some misting periodically. So just, take them down, take them outside if it's indoors and give them a little misting. And so that's something. We have some ornaments over there too. And I'm sure everyone at home has lots of stuff that they can put on to give it a little bit of sparkle, jazz it up a bit. A lot of our stuff comes from our walks and hikes. Oh, can you get me some of the wisteria? Wisteria pods, the long ones? Don't think I put any.
Okay, you want any other?
No.
Or here? Or can we, let's put it in?
We've been collecting the liquid amber, and Pat has sprayed them with gold paint. So, maybe singly, or you can do, groups of threes or
Yeah.
whatever. And so they would glue on nicely. So these are pods from wisterias. So they can be put in here. Nestled in. So there's all kinds of things you could do. See. Oh, pine cones. Why are not pine cones? You can be a big pine cone, Pat.
You want a small one?
A big one. Small ones can be just glued on, just the way I did these little cones. The bigger, heavier cones, these cones are wired on. They already had the wire attached. Yeah, it's nice size. So this may stay if it was glued on. If it's on a front door or it gets moved around, it might end up falling off. So take I would take a little bit more than 12 inches of wire. Just wire it around these little cone petals, tuck it in, bring it around, give it a twist, and you've got your wired cone. And that's what I did with this one. I just put them in, nestled them in, and pulled the wire around. One thing I like to do, good old Amazon. Discovered these a few years ago. Little LED lights on this very fine copper wire. And so this has, I think they even have some little remote control.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't find that was necessary. You never remember what that remote control is for later. You don't label it. So take the wire in, put this at the bottom of your wreath and you'll probably want to wire it on. It's heavy with the 3 batteries. And then just kind of pull this through the copper wire is kind of, and then you just kind of wrap it around or zigzag it around. I'm just going to lay it here to give you an idea of how it changes the wreath. Okay, any questions? Are you ready to get started? Okay.
I didn't mention, you also have an evaluation form. If you could fill that out, it'll also come with the email you get with the recording. So if you prefer to do it online, that's fine too. But yeah, we appreciate any input, how we can improve or what you liked and didn't like. So
Yeah, so what programs you'd like to see us do in the future? So thank you to the Education Committee, Pat and Francesca, and everybody else who helped cut the greens, the Parks Department, and Kevin, our technical specialist, for making this program possible. Have fun, guys.